Welcome to the Retiring Canada podcast, where our mission is to educate and empower you to make the most informed, rational, and productive financial decisions. Hosted by certified financial planner, author, and chartered investment manager Michael Isbister. You'll go behind the scenes to uncover the tips and strategies to help you invest smarter, optimize your retirement income, and reduce the amount of tax you pay. Michael is an investment advisor with Fundamental Wealth, a trade name of Harbourfront Wealth Management, a CERO dealer. And now, here's your host, Michael Isbister.
Hello everyone, and welcome again to the Retiring Canada podcast. In today's episode, we're going to discuss the two estate documents most Canadians miss. Specifically, I'm going to chat about the importance of a cohesive strategy, when you should consider reviewing your estate documents, two crucial estate documents to make your family's life easier during a difficult time, making a plan on purpose, and lastly, as always, a few action items for you to consider. Over the years, I have helped hundreds of Canadian families prepare for a long-term, sustainable retirement. And as we go through the process with prospective and existing clients, we always want to be sure that we are covering all the bases when it comes to making a truly holistic plan. We call our process the Fundamental Retirement Plan, as you may already know. And this process focuses on 5 core planning topics that help to create a truly unified approach where no stone is left unturned. From investment planning, income planning, tax planning, healthcare planning, and lastly, estate planning. All of the decisions we make along the way reverberate through all aspects of the plan. So what do I mean by that? Well, say you choose an investment strategy and open a new account, and during that process you fail to coordinate these decisions with your overall estate plan. While alive, there is likely no issue, but at passing, perhaps the account structure or beneficiary designation was set up in a way that doesn't align with your intended outcome. When people come to our firm after working with an investment-only advisory firm, they often are taken back by the depth of planning we do for our clients. We pride ourselves in being certified financial planning professionals and hold ourselves to the highest standard when developing for retirement plans. Without a coordinated approach, you really don't have a plan, just a bunch of investments, maybe some insurance, an idea of what your retirement income may look like, and maybe a few dated estate documents. On paper, it may seem like you have all your ducks in a row, everything's in order. But likely there is no method to the madness. And ultimately, if you shined a light on all the stuff that you have, do they all point towards your life goals? Through an estate lens, this is where we tend to uncover discrepancies from what someone thinks will happen and what will actually happen when they pass. When we go through this step of the Fundamental Retirement Plan, we lay out in plain English what would happen to your estate at first passing and last passing. We do this not only by reviewing your will and other estate documents, but by gaining a full understanding of your finances, whether it be real estate, vacation properties, farm property, corporations, trusts, individual or joint investment accounts. Having a 360-degree view of your finances gives us the perspective needed to provide insight into the what-if scenario. What if you and your spouse were both hit by the proverbial bus today? How certain are you that your overall estate is truly aligned with your intent? This is why we think there is tremendous value in understanding how the chips would fall today if the unthinkable happened. This process only gets more and more nuanced when you factor in blended families, second marriages, cross-border considerations, and more. So with that framework in mind, let's shift our discussion to today's topic, the missing estate documents. When most of you listening think about estate documents, the first thing that will come to mind would be your will, power of attorney, and healthcare directive or living will. These are crucial aspects to your overall estate plan that should be reviewed and updated a minimum every 5 years or so, or whenever there's a major life event. Oftentimes, we see these documents set up, sometimes a decade or even more in the past, and the documents now have just become disjointed from the client's new reality. Now, if your personal finances and family tree are pretty straightforward, there's a good chance these documents are still in good order. But again, these should be reviewed periodically. One really simple example that I come across, where a client scenario is pretty straightforward, is the naming of an executor. Many may name their adult child or perhaps a close friend or sibling. But if you now look at the will again, although the outcome of the estate still aligns with your wishes, the person that you had chosen as the administrator or executor of the estate may no longer be suitable. Perhaps the adult child has moved provinces and life has gotten really busy for them with family. Would they still be up to the task of being your executor? Or perhaps you named a sibling. To put it lightly, they're also getting older. Now, I'm not suggesting you need to rush out and change an executor on your will for this reason. But what I'm suggesting is that in this specific example, it would be wise to review and then discuss with your intended executor to ensure they're still up to the task when called upon. Now, most people that come to us have some or all of these documents, albeit not a coordinated plan, as I've mentioned. Now, when we look at a will specifically, how you want your assets to transfer to your intended beneficiaries is at the core of this document. However, there is a lot of nuance in our day-to-day lives that can't always be captured in a will. For that reason, we suggest that you also draft a letter of instruction. A letter of instruction is a document that lists all relevant financial information that your family members or executor needs if something happens to you. It also lists contact information for important people in your financial life. Now, paired with other estate planning documents like trusts, wills, powers of attorney, a letter of direction will help ensure your estate is settled per your intentions. It will also help make this difficult time period easier on the loved ones and professionals in your life. I've included a link in the description to a copy of our letter of instruction. Please download this document and set aside an hour or so to fill it out. Once complete, add it to your estate documents to add some context and clarity for your executor and family members. The next document to add to your estate plan is our executor checklist. Adding this to your file will help an executor work through your estate and to help better understand the processes and timelines. Oftentimes, people are thrusted into this position with little to no experience of being an executor. So having this document at least printed out and added to your file may help them in the future. Now, for yourself, if you know that you are named as an executor on a will, I would encourage you to download this file for yourself as well. This will give you some reasonable expectations of what will be involved and will also provide some insight and guidance when you choose the executor for your last will and testament. I will drop a link to the executor checklist in the podcast description as well. We are all privileged to be challenged by a life we've created on purpose. And with that comes responsibility to ensure that what we've built is handled with clarity, intention, and care. And while we spend so much time building and planning for the future, this is one of those areas where a little bit of effort today can have a lasting impact long after we're gone. Getting your estate organized isn't about paperwork. It's about removing uncertainty, it's about reducing stress, and about giving your family clarity in a moment where emotions will already be high. So take the time, have the conversations, put the pieces in place. Because the greatest gift you can leave behind is not just what you've built, but how thoughtfully you've prepared it for those you love. Okay, so that'll do it for today. Here are your action items for today's episode. First off, please download the documents I mentioned in today's episode. Review the executor checklist and tuck it into your estate documents. Next, set about an hour or so of time next week to fill out the letter of instruction. Once complete, add this to your estate documents as well. Next, share this podcast with a friend or family member so they too can prepare their estate and help to minimize the gaps they may currently have inside of their overall estate plan. Lastly, build a cohesive strategy with a certified financial planner. When we build relationships with clients and provide them massive value, we do so by stewarding all aspects of their personal finances, from investments to income to tax and estate planning. All of the informed decisions we can help you make today will all one day boil down to the estate discussion, an inevitability you do not want to leave to chance. Okay, so that'll do it for today's episode. Make sure you add us on all of our socials, LinkedIn and Facebook. Make sure you check out the resources that I mentioned in the description. If you're enjoying the show, please share it. Please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast app. Be sure you're signed up for our weekly Retiring Canada newsletter. And hey, when it comes to your retirement, don't take chances. Make a plan so you can retire with confidence.
All comments are of a general nature and should not be relied upon as individual advice. The views and opinions expressed in this commentary may not necessarily reflect those of Harbourfront Wealth Management. While every attempt is made to ensure accuracy, facts and figures are not guaranteed. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing or tax advice. Please seek advice from your accountant regarding anything raised in the content of the podcast regarding your individual tax situation. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment plan